time now for the Players Perspective. All thanks to Drum and Golf, and we've got two legends joining us tonight, Willie Mason and Mitchell Pearce. This could be trouble. We've got the motley crew back here.
Good crew.
You've had the night off from Levels Network too, mate. What about Brandon Smith? We'll start with him. The news that he'll be dropped this weekend, and he didn't turn up to the player review, whatever it was. What's your take on this?
Seems a little bit deeper, right? You can't just get dropped for missing a review. This is, I think it's probably a little bit continuous. Maybe he's strike two or something like that. You don't drop someone just for a review, right? You just bring them in and say, look, let's sort this out. I don't think it's, I think it's a little bit deeper.
Seems like there's a bit
little
more
bit
to it,
deeper,
right?
yeah. I don't think it's just, have a rest.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Piercy. But what do you reckon? What's your take on it, mate?
Yeah, it's obviously a club decision. I was in there today, so I'm doing a bit of work at the Roosters, and I didn't hear too much.
Spill the beans, Spill the beans.
I didn't hear too much about it, but obviously the clubs have got standards. As all the clubs we've played at, every club has a standard, and obviously he's breached it, so that's probably what the decision's about.
What about the Bulldogs, Mace, yesterday? They're on fire. Good win against Parry. You still work at the Dogs?
Just the pathways and stuff like that, but it's sort of, it wasn't just the fact that they won, it's how they won. You know, it was 45,000 people there. It's like they were right behind. They had 2 people sent off, like for 10, all that kind of stuff. They ended up coming back. Critter was outstanding, absolutely outstanding. Their middles did a job because they were up for a parrot. Campbell Gillard was going at it. Paulo was going at it. Cartwright, you got Moses back. You had Brown. They were clicking. And our boys end up getting it. And I think just class from like Critter, man. I just can't give him enough praise.
What about they copped some criticism over the last couple of years, and even at the start of this year, both Gus and Cam. But they're starting to prove everyone wrong, right?
I just think you got to trust the system, right? You know, like there was a bit of last year he inherited a team that it's not his, right? So most of those players are gone, and he's brought in people that he wants, and they're doing the job for him, right? They work hard in defence. He's very detailed, Ciro. The amount of detail he's put in, I mean, he created that whole Penrith defensive system out there. So it's going to take a while for us to acclimate to that, but we're doing it. We're working so hard.
Yeah, so really hard because obviously last year there was the wrestling sessions and all that.
Yeah.
But it's starting to click in, is it?
It is clicking, and everyone's buying in, right? There's no sessions. They're training harder than last year. You know what I mean? So that says a lot. They haven't backed down at all. Travis Tumar does a great job. Ciro does a great job. They've doubled down. So it's not about the hard work. It's just everyone buying in and getting the right players around, and then that's you're getting the results.
Piercy, talking about buying in, State of Origin, it's on the line in Melbourne. What do you think of the halves in Game 1? And would you make any changes in Game 2?
Yeah, well, as an ex-half, I'm always first to defend the sevens after a loss. And obviously playing with 12 men, it's a difficult situation for any half. I think Nico will probably have some moments back if he had his time again. I thought we attacked a bit poor with 12 men. There was some times there in the second half, even in the back end of the first half, where we kept trying to run around Queensland. We got 12 men. I think the best option was when Spencer nearly scored back on the inside off Nico. He got held up over the line. The times we challenged Queensland's middle, we're in the game. But it's too many errors, and probably, I think if Nico had his time again, he'd probably make some different decisions. But look, I'm always first to defend a half in Origin.
So am I. Like, it's a tough one. We've both lived it. We've both been on the other end of it, right? We've had some success and we've had some failings there. So we don't like to be critical of the halves because we know how hard the job is, right? But do you stick with the same halves, Piercy? Like, honestly, who are you putting in for Game 2?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think Mitch Moses, if he has a big game this week, I think Mitch has probably just got more, at that level, more ability to bring everyone else into the game. He's obviously got that longer kicking game. He's probably got the best long kicking game in the competition, besides Nathan Cleary, or probably length of kick. He probably kicks almost Berto as well. But I think Mitch's ability to bring everyone onto the field around him, he'll get his centres a bit more ball.
Short sides as well. He's the best short side attacker in the game.
You like Mitch too?
I like Moses, I think he's really come along in his in the last couple of years, that leadership role. He takes the line on, his kicking game's great, his defence is good. I just think he'd be the perfect fit, and I think he would have been the 7 regardless. I mean, if he had about, I reckon, 3 games before selection, I think he would have got the nod. I think he fits Origin now. I think he's just really matured.
Do you keep Luai or would you go Burton?
That's a hard one. I'm thinking I'm going Moses and Luai and maybe Burton on the bench.
Burton on the bench.
And what about the centre spot? Everybody's talking about...
Oh, man, I've got to go. I mean, I've got to go with Latrell. Like, he just scares the hell out of teams, right? He's got that X factor. I know they didn't consider him for game one, obviously with what was going on off the field. The papers were, controlling this narrative, saying he was a bad influence and all this kind of stuff. I don't think that's a fact. I think he's really shown it in the last couple of weeks, and I think he's going to prove it again this week. And I still think he's the best left centre in the world. He's just got that attack and he's got that presence, and he's the only one that scares Queensland.
What about, like, I heard Gus say last night, Origin's about what you do when you don't have the footy.
Yeah, I agree. Like, just say, and Gus said, like, he put him at fullback if he's going to pick him. Not a chance.
I think you were just saying.
I know he's taking the piss, I think, but yeah, I think he was. But I think if you put him at centre, he's going to be doing nowhere near the kilometres he is at fullback. So every time he does get the ball, it's going to be quality. And he's going to be a lot better in defence. He's a great defensive player. He's been slept on because he's been playing fullback for 3 years. When's the last time he played Origin?
He's intimidating, isn't he,
He just ragdolled everyone.
And we probably need that. I agree. I think Latrell, he came off a good game last week. He's had a couple of big games. In all the criticism, he's had some big performances. Even in a team that's been struggling. When he's been on and his head's on, he plays really well. And in Origin, he's proven. Like Mace just said, he's intimidating, he's big, he's strong. I think we need that.
Oh, well, you need that back. We need that back. No one's scaring Queensland at the moment.
A bit of strike power, a bit of X factor. Now, I want to get the players' perspective here. This is an interesting one. Lachlan Galvin, apparently telling his teammates, and this is just rumours, this has been passed on from the journos, telling his teammates, well, apparently it's true, but telling his teammates he doesn't want to be there. What's your take on that?
Well, as an 18-year-old kid who's come through the system like he has been, and then you hear stuff like that, if you're a senior player, you're a coach, you're filthy. You probably don't want a kid like that at the club if he's saying all that kind of stuff. And I think it goes a little bit deeper than that. I think it's the management. I think he's been shopped around. I know there's these anti-tampering rules, which is a load of crap. I think there's a lot of teams that would love his services, but regardless, even if they do, you don't go around clubs saying that kind of stuff. You're rubbing everyone the wrong way.
But tell me this, so how do the Dogs and all these clubs that are down the bottom that go to, and they get these young kids, because you can't get the big players, right? Because they shop for the big players. Like they've all gone for Cam Munster, they've gone for those, and they just don't get them. So they get these good young kids, and they want out. How do they compete with the good clubs if this keeps on?
I'll just say, if you're a young kid, Piercy, right, and you're at the Tigers, so you're Galvin, and you're coming through the system. Your big Stefano doesn't want to sign a 5-year deal. Benji Marshall's been criticised for his coaching and his attention. If you're an 18-year-old kid and you're getting shopped around to, allegedly, the Roosters and Penrith, great clubs, great systems, do you stay at West Tigers knowing the fact that they've been struggling since 2010?
If I was Lockie, I can understand why he wants to go to another club. Like, there's not much promise in him staying at the Tigers at the moment. They're coming off 9 straight losses. There's not much potential at the moment that the club's showing. So I can totally understand a frustrated young half in that system. I sort of stick up for him in the fact that the managers are sometimes out of our hands as players. They're obviously trying to work for his player and help him out if that's where it's been leaked. So I don't think you can throw too much at the young kid. He's frustrated. He's trying to find where his future lies. He wants to reach his potential. So that could be at the Tigers, but I can understand.
Yeah, but wasn't Burton and all that in the same spot? So they signed for the Dogs. They were down the bottom. They couldn't sign anybody. They couldn't get a win.
Yeah.
But you can turn the culture around as a player.
I'm not saying he has to leave the Tigers. I'm just saying I can understand his frustration. If he's in a team that's not winning, he's probably getting maybe some messages from his manager.
Well, he's probably seen the writing on the wall from other players, right? They've probably seen guys like Brooks going, you've wasted 10 years of your career there, and then you've gone somewhere else, and then you've excelled. He's like, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I want to get out early so I don't go down with his ship.
To what you said, Piercy, he's a young kid. And it's the people around him telling him the right things and going about it the right way. He's never experienced anything like it before. He's never had to deal with this sort of attention.
Imagine this getting thrown at him if he's the next big thing, right? So just say he's signed till 2026. I don't think he's signing on massive money, right? Probably nearly a rookie contract, and now he's going to get offered.
Why have the Dragons and Bulldogs been able to turn their seasons around and the Tigers haven't? What's the difference do you see between those clubs and the West Tigers? Why can't the Tigers get back to where they need to get back to?
I think for me, for the Dragons, I put a lot of it on the coach. I think Flano's done a really good job. You hear him speak in interviews about his progression plan, who he wants to attract to the club. He's made some hard decisions from the start. So I think his team, you can see his team's improving every week, especially defensively. probably the same. Mace could probably speak about the Dogs a bit more with Ciro there, but it's the same thing. Defensively, they've got a plan and they're moving forward.
I think it's the coaching. It's all about the coaching, because you have a look at the Tigers at the start of the year, right? You look at that roster and you go, they could push for a top 8 if everything goes all right. So I was thinking they're going to have a breakout year. You know, the Bulldogs have obviously bought into what Ciro's selling.